Hey, thank you for not believing in me. Yes, Lord. Anybody listening right now, don't never let nobody opinion of you determine yourself.
What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome to another Let That Marinate podcast episode. I am your boy Lorenzo, and as I told you before, I am going to try to be consistent with this podcast because it's been something I've always wanted to do. Of course, I had to take me a little break. It's kind of burnt out, kind of exhausted, but hey, this is one of the things that helps me to stay on track. So, yeah, man, just figured I'd come on here and just do a little quick rant. I kind of want to expound a little bit more on the men's mental health episode that I did a couple of days ago. First of all, once again, happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Um, Happy Men's Mental Health Month. Also, Juneteenth. Salute to everyone who celebrated Juneteenth. Salute to all my ancestors who paved the way, who made history, who made it possible for us to be where we are now. Um, you know, we definitely have to celebrate that a little bit more, not just on, you know, just that particular day. Of course, it was a delayed, but it was a moment of freedom, right? Um, so and actually there's so much that I can talk about on that, but I'm just gonna leave it at that for right now, and just celebrate the fact that our ancestors were freed. But anyway, like I said, I just want to expound a little bit more on the Men's Mental Health Month, um, because I was sharing something with someone about how you have to make it you have to create a safe space in order for a man to open up because there's so many different labels that's placed upon a man when it comes to him expressing some type of emotion, right? whether it's um whether it's anger, like, okay, for example, if a man expresses anger, right, he's toxic, right? Like, he's labeled toxic because he's expressing himself from a place of anger, of course. And, when you're angry, yes, you're bound to say anything, you're bound to act a certain way. So a lot of times people look at that and they're like, oh, I can't deal with that. He's toxic, you know. Um, then, of course, if we're expressing ourselves from a place of fear, we're labeled as a coward, right? We're labeled as a coward because, of course, we're supposed to be the stronger ones. We're supposed to be the fearless ones. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that we do fear, right? We do fear a lot of things, and if we're not able to express that, then I guess because people don't expect for us to be someone of fear, right? They expect for us to always, you know, be able to be in a place of protecting others, right? Making sure everybody else is good, making sure everybody else is safe from harm and danger and everything like that, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that we fear. We do have a fear of certain things. Like, a- as of today, we're afraid to even just walk outside. We can walk outside minding our own business, right? Somebody can pull up on us because they got a problem with us walking around in that area, or just being out in the area. They're going to look at us and label us as a threat. They're going to look at us and label us as someone, as some sort of suspect. We're looking suspicious or whatever. So we have a fear of that. We have a fear of, you know going on our jobs, putting in all of this hard work and effort. Yet they come to us and tell us, we got to let you go. Because now it's like, how am I supposed to take care of my family? How am I supposed to, make sure my family is okay? How am I gonna be able to do this? Right? There's a lot of things that we fear, but of course we can't express that because all people want us to do is just show up, right? We can't even express sadness because we're gonna be labeled as weak, right? We're gonna be labeled as, you know, a simp, right? And to me, I feel like that's one of the hardest things is to not be able to express sadness. You know what I'm saying? Like we're like it's just crazy to me how people expect for a man to just be tough all the time, right? Like they'd rather see a man be angry than to be sad. You know what I mean? They'd rather see a man be angry than to be sad. Because I guess when a man is angry, he's exuding some sort of toughness about him. He's exuding some type of strength. Yet, to me, the greatest strength is being able to express yourself when you're sad. That's just my opinion, right? Um, People don't like it when we set boundaries. You know, they don't like it when we have standards. You know what I'm saying? They think we're insecure. They think we're misogynistic. They feel like, because we have, certain things that we just won't take part in. We just won't do. They look at us as, like something's wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with a man having standards. There's nothing wrong with a man setting boundaries. You know, you do have men out there who's all about protecting themselves mentally and emotionally. We're not just going to allow anybody or be a part of anything that's going to, you know, compromise our integrity, compromise our character, compromise who we are as a man. We're just not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like there's like for example, in the act like I'm an actor, and in the acting industry there's some things that people will try to, get you to do. They try to make it sound good because, the money is good, and you're going to be at this level in your career and all this other stuff. But there's been plenty of times I've had to turn down roles. I've had to turn down offers because I'm not going to compromise who I am. I'm not going to sell my soul, just to be a part of something, that could possibly take me here. You know what I mean? Like I would much rather get to this level by the hard work that I put in. You know what I'm saying? I would much rather get to that level because of, because of my talent and because of how good I am at what I do. Not just because I'm the type to just jump at every opportunity. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with having boundaries and standards. Nothing wrong with that at all, right? Then also, just the mere fact of a man just expressing his emotions. That's a problem for a lot of people when a man is expressing his emotions. But what's crazy is when a man doesn't show emotions, they label him as a heartless individual, and that's crazy to me because you had a problem when I was expressing my emotions, but now that I'm not, now that's a problem. So basically, there's no winning. You're basically fighting a losing battle. A man is fighting a losing battle because there is no way that he can express any type of emotion without being labeled. And that's one of the reasons why it's hard for us to open up because we don't feel like we can. No matter how we open up no matter how in what way we open ourselves up, it's not good enough. It's not going to be treated like, okay, let me take the time to try to understand where he's coming from. Like there's no room for understanding where this man is coming from when he's expressing himself. None at all. And I've said this before. If a man does open up himself to you, but you're showing him that nothing he says matters, if you're being dismissive, if you're using it against him, trust me, he's not going to open up ever again. He's not, because our emotions are our most prized possessions, right? It really is. That's one of the things that we do take pride in because that's one of the hardest things for us to do is express emotions. We're always protective of ourselves when it comes to that. So when you're giving him the space to do so, make sure it is a safe space to do. Make sure it is, you know, make sure that you're giving him the opportunity to express himself in a way that's going to give him an opportunity to feel better. And you're also giving him an opportunity to maybe one day want to come back to you and talk with you again. You'll learn so much from a man just by creating the space for him to open up. There's so much you would learn about that man, right? So we have to, so it's already hard as it is in today's society for a man to be a man because everybody has their own definition of what a man should be, what a man should do. Like everyone has their own definition of what a man should look like. But no one is actually trying to understand the actual man in order to know what a man is supposed to be. No one's taking the time to like really get to learn um, um to learn a man from a man's perspective, right? Because we already have the idea of what a man is supposed to look like. You know what I'm saying? So we really have to again take the time to you know seek an understanding, get an understanding, so you will know exactly what's going on with that man. Because if you're not going to give him the opportunity to express himself in a way that is going to not only help him but also help you know help you understand how to navigate through that situation regarding what he's going through. If you want to know how to move when it comes to certain situations with him, then take the time to understand. Take the time to like really get to know like like get to know him in in every aspect there is. You know, you have to give him an opportunity to you know give you the things that's going to help you to understand how to deal with that. And most people are not able to deal with it because they don't have the mental capacity. They don't have the emotional capacity. And if that's the case, then don't bother to ask that man. Don't bother to ask that man to open up to you because he's not going to do it because you're already showing him that it's not safe to do so because you're not going to try to understand him. You know what I mean? So that's my quick rant for today. Uh, Again, this is I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent with the podcast. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent with, you know, um, just sharing things and giving y'all some, a little bit of nuggets, wisdom. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a young man and I'm still learning, but whatever I, pick up on, I'm always willing to share. You know what I mean? That's what I do. But in the meantime, I gotta go get ready for work. You know what I'm saying? It's Friday. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are getting ready to enjoy your weekend. Um, just be safe, be careful. You know what I'm saying? And then and have fun, live your life, but be safe. Anyway, that's my time for today. Until next time, let that marinate.
Hey, thank you for not believing in me. Yes, Lord. Anybody listening right now, don't never let nobody opinion of you determine yourself.